Hey everyone, we are the Gratitude Girls.
The gratitude girls are in the house. Hello, Lori. How are you?
Hi, Katherine. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. As we were just speaking a few minutes ago before we went live, I'm staring out the window and I'm looking at nature and a beautiful swimming pool, and I'm looking at how the sun set. And in a room that has a solarium room with a lot of glass and windows, and that will lead us right into our topic tonight. So I'll introduce myself and then we'll dovetail that right into, hopefully that intrigued our audience to think about their surroundings. My name is Katherine Asaro Meyers, affectionately known as Raa Raa's in the house. There's a great story behind that, and I'll tell it another time, or again, it's in a previous coaching and training. But tonight we're here to provide you with free live coaching and training. And I'm here with my amazing partner, Lori Delk, Lori Delk Radecki.
Yes, and I am in a little town outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
Right. Tonight I'm in Toronto. I'm in a different surrounding. So we're actually cat sitting for friends. So I'm not in my usual office, but I'm here looking at what's surrounding us. Tonight we're going to talk about what is your focus. So literally speaking, like what do you see when you are speaking to people? When you're in a Zoom call, as we've been, sometimes we do that because we're global businesses. So what are we looking at right above our camera, right above and beyond? And what's in our peripheral? What's behind us? And does that really affect what we're doing in terms of our achievements, our productivity? So I'm looking at nature, I'm looking at the sun setting, and it's very bright. I prefer to look at darkness. I prefer candlelight, dim lights. All these bright lights are very distracting for me. So for me, this is like a shiny penny that makes me keep looking up and doesn't allow me to focus. But if you give me a dark room with a fireplace or some dim lights and one light off in the background, I could focus for hours. What about you, Lori?
I am the exact opposite on that. And it's so funny because we're so alike on so many levels. But yes, I if I had all that dim stuff, like you were just talking it, and can feel myself relaxing. I could just go to sleep. And so for me to focus, I have to have the bright light. I have to have bright sunlight. I love to sit outside or in my office with all my lights on. My husband will tease me because I'll have the ceiling fan light on and my little LED lights in the ceiling. And but I like it bright.
Right, that's great to know this about each other, right? Like I could go into a studio with lighting, but if I stay there too long, I'm going to be out of alignment. I'm going to need to go into a space that gives me what I need to recharge my battery. So if you think about your home offices or where you choose to meet people, when when my husband and I go out on a date night, we'll choose a cozy little Spanish restaurant that's dark and we'll sit in the corner, as opposed to a bright restaurant, sit in the window. When I want to think and create and we have work to do, I want to go somewhere where something isn't going to change my focus. So I guess I have that shiny penny syndrome, which is if I see it flying, a bird, and I see a rabbit, I'm going to want to go, "Oh, what's that?" So I keep my blinders on so that I can focus. It's a great thing to know about ourselves because maybe our audience doesn't know that when they're actually trying to be productive or are being productive, and wonder what's happening. Why is it not flowing? Why am I stopping? Why am I having writer's block? I think knowing this about ourselves really helps. And then let's talk about our productivity. What happens to you when you are right on rolling and doing everything exactly the way you expect it to be? What's that like?
Yeah, if I'm doing everything the way I expect it to be and the way it's scheduled to go, then I feel good. I feel energized. I feel motivated to keep going, right? And it's kind of like that train, like the train, it takes so long to get up to that fast pace, right? And so then when it stops at a stop, it takes so long to get up to that fast pace again, right? And so that's the same thing with me. It's like if I stop, or if I, like you said, get distracted on something and I don't stick to what I had planned and in my schedule and in my timeline of what I want to do, then I'm like, then it like throws everything else off and I have to work 10 times as hard to get back on track, to get back going. And sometimes that takes a while, like to make yourself get back to where you belong.
Right. It's like when you're in the gym and then something stops you and you got to get started again. Well, what happens? I'll talk about this. So today I had, my schedule was like it always is, right? To the T. And then last minute, someone asked, could they change an appointment with me? Of course, absolutely. And I went and I moved on to something else, which was personal. So I now had a chunk of time that became personal time. And I went and I spent time with my family. And I had really wanted to schedule that, but it just didn't work out originally. And I don't change appointments, as neither do you. I know that. So I thought, okay, you know, it won't work, or I'll try to make it work later. When that opportunity came up, I went to the next thing on my personal list, which was truly a top priority, but I just didn't want to move my business plan around. So when it happened, off I went. I pivoted immediately to a personal moment that gave me true joy and happiness. But as that happened, the appointment called me back and said, okay, I'm ready. But I'd already pivoted. So now I was where I had gone with no car, no way to change that. So when we talk about focus, it's interesting, right? Because when we can make a move, and we do, it's not always easy to turn around and make that move back. You sort of like, you've got the momentum going. And I had to play it out. Like that was just the way it had to go. Of course, there was a clear understanding, and it was great. And I explained where I was and what I was doing. But I don't have the type of schedule. I have the force in my schedule that when I'm going strong. And then if I do pivot, I have the same amount of momentum. So I really don't have the ability to put the brakes on and then change everything again. I find that hard to do.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, people have to understand that too, right? Like if you, yeah, we understand that you have to be flexible to a point, right? Things are going to come up in people's lives. And even though, yes, you always try to stay on schedule and make all your appointments and be on time, be early if possible, right? But things do come up. And yeah, like you said, I mean, I do the same. It's like if somebody cancels, something else is going in that spot. And usually it's something personal, because exactly that, because we're like throwing that in, and we're always wanting to enrich our personal life and relationships and things anyway, right? And so that opportunity arises. Yeah, definitely. We move things to get that in there. And yeah, we're not going to, and even though it is personal, we're not going to drop it at the drop of a hat for a client, because our personal life and our personal relationships are the most important anyway, because that's the whole reason that we're doing our business, is to support that, right?
Yes, yes. And my client totally understood. I was with 5 of my 7 grandchildren. Dropped off with no car, immersed in what I was doing. I thought it was a gift. I actually thanked them for giving me the opportunity to have that gift. And they said, enjoy it. Of course, it's beautiful. And I needed to say exactly where I was. You know, I didn't want to say, no, I can't. I said, this is exactly where I am as a result of that change. I went right into, I'm sitting with my grandchildren, and there's just no way. I don't even think if I tried to get up, and I wouldn't, that they would have been tears on all of our parts, right? So when those things come up, what's really nice is that we have a list of things to do, and we have priorities: a walk with our husband, a dip in the pool, go visit the grandkids, go and do something personal for ourselves that was like, just, we couldn't fit it in. And I love having the ability to do that. And as an entrepreneur, sometimes people don't understand that when they have JOBS. Things come up that you can suddenly do because life happens to our ambassador clients around us. And we just get to step in, like suddenly I'm there. You know, I'm there at the store, or I'm there at that tea, or I'm there at that lunch when 3 weeks ago, I said, absolutely, I can't be there. My regrets. So the nice thing about entrepreneurship is if we can embrace the change that happens and be ready and prepared, we're not left like twiddling our thumbs thinking, oh no, woe is me, an appointment moved or canceled. Now what am I supposed to do? Right? We really need to look at our schedules and fill our schedules with money-making and enriching activities. So for me today, it was the gift to enrich my personal life. I feel so blessed that that happened.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. And it's like we always say, things are never coincidences, right? They always happen for a reason. There's a reason for everything. And just like when you and I met, right? And so we have to fall into that and lead from that space, right? And figure out what is the best thing for us at that time and at that moment. And you picked it perfect. And what better time is that, right?
Right. The time is now. And I hope that this example of what happened today is a way to turn lemons into lemonade, or a situation that might have been upsetting because it just didn't go the way we wanted it. And does that mean that the day is now going to turn? I would hope that we could look at the situations of things that happen around us and embrace them and enrich our lives with the opportunity to find the good in all of it. If we look at the rose-colored glasses and we really find what the meaning and the message is, it was meant to be. Right? It's really meant to be. So I hope that our clients and our guests and our audience can find that in their day, especially if something happened today, or maybe it's going to happen tomorrow and you're going to maybe take a pivot down. I would invite everyone to pivot up and find the gratitude, as we do when we're writing our gratitude journal. So I have a lot of respect for the person that can take the truth about the situation, because we have to be able to be very honest about what's happening. And when you can build that relationship with your client and they can build it with us, that's solid. Those are relationships that don't happen overnight. So I'm really grateful for that. And hopefully our audience will be working to build their honest relationships with their coaches and their business associates, because we're blessed that we focus on that.
Yes, exactly. So tell us, what is your focus? What are you focusing on? Tell us below in the comments, private message us, go to gratitudegirls.com. You can comment below our video there. Of course, on all our social media, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, we're on all those. So make sure you to watch all of our shows and all of our past coaching and training. We're on live every single week. So catch you next time.
Good night. Thank you.